Hey guys, what's up? It's Mickey. I'm here with Amanda, and she's with In Your Face Xotixs. Yep, In Your Face Xotixs. And her and her husband Gavin breed tons of retics, and we're going to talk today about retics.
Yay!
So, what kind of drew you guys to working with retics?
Well, Gavin started it was about 27 years ago, and he just likes the big stuff. He likes big and just weird things. And at the time that he started, there weren't a lot of retics, and they were all mainlands, so they were big. And then I got into them about 10 years ago. I got into them, and now I take care of them all.
So let's clear up a common myth right now, because I hear about retics that get 36 feet long and 28 feet long and all that stuff. How long does a properly fed retic actually get?
Properly fed retics, it just depends on if there's dwarfism that is bred into the bloodline. The mainlands do get up to about 25 feet, and they can be up to like 200 pounds. The ones like nowadays, a lot of people breed dwarfism into them, so it just depends. They don't get that big. They can get up to like 15 feet, but on average, it's just been a lot less. I would say about 14 to 15.
So let's talk about like setting up a let's say somebody's been keeping some ball pythons for a while, and they're like, I want to get a retic. These things are beautiful. They're amazing animals, and somebody walks up and they want to buy a retic from you. What are you going to suggest that they keep a retic in?
Well, what I do is I make sure that they are very aware of how the retics are. So I let them know that they need to start with a baby so they can grow with the animal, and that they don't need to have a whole room for an enclosure. A lot of people think that if they have more room, they're always going to be happy. But they do get stressed out in a lot bigger space at times. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some that do like big spaces, but if they're in like a 12 by 10 or 13 room, they're not going to be, most of the time, they're not going to be unstressed, I should say.
Yeah, I've seen them kept both ways,
Yeah.
And they're animals. I mean, they're just going to have their good days and their bad days.
Yes.
Yep. So what kind of other advice would you give a new retic keeper?
Handle. You need to handle them. We are huge into tap training, which is you take the hook and you tap the tip of the nose to turn off the food response.
Yeah.
Just because retics are so food driven.
Yeah.
We do make sure that they know this and that they understand that retics have more of a personality. They're so active, and they're not just a ball python where you can just reach in from the top.
Yeah.
We like enclosures with their front opening enclosures.
Before you miss out on it, dude.
So I lost my spot here.
So before before they start getting too big, people might want to start working on some kind of tap training.
Oh, yes.
Like that.
I'm so sorry. Yes, we actually start right when they come out of the egg. We start handling their heads and just getting them used to people touching them and messing around with them. With the tap training, we start that right away with their food with their first feed, I should say. We just do that immediately, and we really try to push that on people to do that with every time they open their enclosure.
Yeah. So now if somebody gets a pet retic, they can really reassure their neighbors and stuff that, like, hey, my retic's not going to get out and it's not going to eat you. Like, I hear that so much. Like, oh, that big snake's going to eat me. It's like,
Yep.
No.
Yeah. We do recommend locks on all cages.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many you have or how safe you think you are, but for the safety of yourself and your animal, you really should have locks on the cages itself.
Well, and I think that's why a lot of these larger constrictors have gotten such a bad rap over the years, is people just not setting them up properly. I've been in situations where I've seen people keeping a retic in in a fish tank with a screen lid with bricks on top of it.
Yeah.
And the animal gets out and
That's back in the 90s.
ah!
You would think. I mean, that was okay back in the 90s. But yeah, I get that completely. They're basically Houdinis. They're going to get out of that, but you have to keep them locked. Even on racking systems, we have Freedom Breeders and ARS racks, and we have locks on every single tub.
Yeah, because they're always looking for a way out. They're very
Always.
curious and inquisitive snakes, and they're beautiful animals. You know, I think any intermediate keeper could really keep these. I mean, even a newer keeper could probably keep them if they did enough research on them and grew with the animal.
Yes, I mean, for our own reasons, we don't sell them as a very first snake. But then if you do have a ball python, and if you've had it for just a little while, we'll quiz you, and you have our number, and we give you all of our contact information. And we even check in on you to see how the animal is and how you're doing. And I have people that even a year after they reach out to us just to make sure. So
see, I
always have to look at that.
I feel like if somebody's wanting to purchase something like this, they need to look into the future and say, okay, I'm probably going to need an 8-foot enclosure eventually, and just start looking down the avenues of locks and PVC enclosures and stuff like that.
Yes. Research is a god. It's amazing. Yeah. So I would definitely do your research, ask questions. No question is a dumb question at all.
Yeah, there's really no such thing as a dumb question.
No,
not somebody's trying to be dumb, but
yeah, right? Exactly.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.